Together for our minister, Minister Nuri, Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Please be seated. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is indeed his messenger. I'd like to greet my sisters and brothers in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. How's everybody doing today?
Fine, sir.
All praises are due to Allah. I'm doing well myself, striving in Allah's name to make my word my bond. Thanking Allah for his intervention in our affairs in the form of a well-made man, Master Farad Muhammad, and for him raising up in the midst of us the greatest black man that ever lived, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And in this hour we would not know of that great black man called Elijah Muhammad, nor would we be connected to Master Farad Muhammad if it were not for this bold, uncompromising leader in our midst today, the one that is the champion of our people. Is that right? Yes, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's in their names that I greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Yes, brothers and sisters, today we are taking on a subject. I know that whenever it has not been announced or it is not on the sign, it becomes a mystery subject. Sometimes the mystery subjects are the best subjects. And today our subject is titled WWJE. You've heard of WWJD. What would Jesus do? But today we want to talk about what would Jesus eat? Some say that it doesn't matter what Jesus or anybody else eats. Jesus said, as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. So why is it important to talk about what a man eats if what a man is made of is what he thinks? It's important to talk about what you eat because what you eat has a bearing on what you think. Whenever the white man is involved in combat, his missions, where he's figuring out his opponent and the strengths of his opponent, the weaknesses of his opponent, the mindset of his opponent, he doesn't go and study the books that the opponent harms. He doesn't just listen to the phone conversations of his new opponent, but he studies the garbage of his enemy. He looks through the trash to determine what the person that he is getting ready to fight, what is it that these people eat? And based off of the study of what he finds in the trash of what a person eats, he can tell what type of person he's dealing with. Why? Because a certain mindset has to be in place to eat a certain way. You can't say that you are a lover of self and you eat that which does not sustain life. You can't show and prove that you really are about winning a battle whenever you are eating food that handicaps you in your battle. So when the enemy wants to see how serious of an opponent he's dealing with, he goes through your trash can. And based off of what he sees in the trash, he can determine what type of person that he's dealing with. It matters what type of food you eat because you are what you eat. Is that right? Even the thoughts that you think are affected by the foods that you eat. If you think pure, holy thoughts and study a pure, holy word, yet you put inside of your body poison food, poison animal, or what is called in this world junk food, it matters not that you have studied the pure word and thought pure and holy thoughts. If you put impure food in your body, then the impure food will mix with the pure thoughts. And that which you have in your mind that is holy and is right will be perverted by the food that you eat. Food is not something that can separate itself from the mind of an individual. As a person thinketh in their heart, so is that person. But as that person eats, so do they think. Are y'all all right? The goal of the digestive system is to convert the food in from solid into a liquid. Is that right? When food is broken down, it is converted into a chemical. Right? And when that food becomes a liquid or a chemical, it goes through the bloodstream, travels all through the human body, goes into the brain. Is that right? Well, thoughts in the brain are also electrochemical energy. So the thoughts in the mind are liquid form. So if you eat food as solid, but it becomes liquid, and that liquid goes into the brain, and inside the brain are thoughts that are liquid as well, then the liquid of the food mixed with the liquid of the thought. And if you have poison and corrupt food in your system mixed with a pure holy thought, that pure holy thought becomes tainted by the poison food that has been put inside of the body. Is that right? If it's not the truth, then ask yourself this question. As a Muslim, we are taught that we like the devil because the devil gives us nothing. Why do we like the devil? Because the devil put fear in us when we were little boys. Well, why do we fear now since we are big men? Because the devil taught us to eat the wrong foods. What if fear is a psychological thing? If fear is a concept of thinking, but food is something that you eat in your mouth and digest in your stomach, how is it that we were able to adopt a psychological thing like fear from the physical food that we eat, if physical food and the thoughts we think do not connect with one another? Every thought or every food that you eat had to think something. And every thought that it thought was in its blood. When you ate the food, you ate the blood of the animal. And whatever the thought was in the animal when the animal was slaughtered is in the blood of that animal. And when that blood is consumed by the one that eats it, you eat the idea and the thought of that animal. And since right now as it stands, black people don't have no farmland. Am I telling the truth? Black people don't want to be out there picking nothing no more. Huh? Anything that look anything like slavery, we running the hell away from it. We don't even want no garden in the backyard, let alone no farmland. So we're not slaughtering the cows. Is that right? White men are doing that. We're not killing the pigs. White men are killing the pigs. We're not wringing the necks of the chicken. White men are wringing the necks of the chickens. So if white men slaughter the chicken, slaughter the beef, slaughter the pig, is that right? When they slaughter the cows are lined up in ranks, one cow after another. The cow that's in front is stepped forward, and then the garter comes on his neck, cuts his head off, and it's moved out the way, and the next cow is lined up. That cow that is waiting in line is watching its mother cow, or its brother cow, or its fellow cow being slaughtered right before its eyes. And it knows that as it moves forward, its doom is pending. So the thought that goes on in the cow that watches the other cow slaughter is fear of the one that is killing the other cow. And since white men are wringing chicken necks, white men are slaughtering pigs, white men are killing cows, that cow thinks fear of the white man. So when you go and eat your quarter pounder with cheese, you're eating a quarter pound of fear of the white man. When you eat your half-pound hamburger, you're eating a half a pound of fear of the white man. Every time you eat the meat killed by the devil, you are eating the thought of the animal animal when the animal was killed. Therefore, the fear of the white man in the cow, in the chicken, is now in the blood of that cow or chicken. And when you eat the meat that has the blood in it, you eat the DNA of the animal. And since fear of the white man was in the cow, in the chicken, when you eat the wrong foods, there's fear in us, even though we are grown men. All praises are due to Allah. When the white man went to India, the first thing he did when he made slaves in India was change the diet of the original inhabitants of India. He came to India and he himself was the top of the ranks. He was a vegetarian. Then he had underneath him overseers. His overseers, they were allowed to eat meat, but they couldn't eat red meat. Then underneath the overseer was the farmers. Are y'all all right? The farmers were allowed to eat poultry, red meat, but no swine flesh. Then underneath the farmer was the poor slave. The poor slave was made to eat red meat, made to eat chicken, and made to eat swine's flesh. And the only difference between the four classes of people in India was the food that they ate. You ever wonder why the queen bee? What makes the queen bee get bigger than the other bees? How did the queen bee get bigger than the other bees? They all came from the same larva. They all came from the same type of egg. But whenever one is chosen to be the queen bee, the other bees take something called royal jelly, which is a higher form of honey. And they began to put on top of the larva of the bee that they want to become the queen, royal jelly. And because that queen bee is fed a higher quality and a higher grade of honey, then the queen bee grows up to be more intelligent than the other bees, more powerful than the other bees, larger in size than the other bees, lives longer than the other bees, based off of the quality of the food that it is fed. All praise are due to Allah. When the slave master brought us to America, the first thing he changed was our names. The second thing he changed was our diet. The third thing he changed was our religion. Is that right? The white man bound the hands of the slave. Why? Because hands of men and women that are free are used for two things. One, building, and the other one, fighting. And since the slave master knew that we could build better than him and fight better than him, he tied our hands up when we weren't working for him, for fear that we might use those hands to fight against our slave master. He tied our feet up because feet are used to run and feet are used to kick. And he knew that if the feet were left free, we would run or kick our slave master. He also did something to the mouth of the slave. You didn't hear what I just said. The slave master, when he first brought us to America, could not get us to eat swine flesh. We didn't eat no pig before we came to America. There's a whole lot of stuff, brothers and sisters, that we didn't used to do. There was no fags in Africa. There was no lesbians in Africa. There was no whores in Africa. There was no pimps in Africa. There was no crackheads in Africa. There was no drug dealers in Africa. There was no alcoholics in Africa. There was no bums in Africa. We didn't become alcoholics, bums, and pimps, and prostitutes, and drug dealers, and drug addicts, and hog eaters until we came to North America. All praise is due to Allah. It wasn't until we met the white man that we start functioning like this. So technically, every time we see a drug addict, a bum, or a pimp, they should wear a label on their back says made in America. Because you wasn't made like that originally, brothers and sisters. You was made that way by a slave master. The slave master had to force feed swine on us. Many slaves had all their teeth knocked out so that they could not bite down and keep the food that they wanted to shove into our throat from being put in. They would knock all our teeth out and then shove a funnel in the slave's mouth. And force food down the throat. You didn't hear what I just said. And the food would have such an adverse effect because the slave, the African, never ate swine flesh. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Never ate no pig before. So when the pig went in the system, immediate sickness took over the slave. Most of the times the slave would be on the ship with a case of diarrhea. And since the diarrhea will cause the slave to dehydrate, and dehydration would cause insanity, and insanity would cause the slave to kill other slaves or even themselves, they would stick a cork into the anus of a slave with a rope wrapped around it, and then catch the rope on fire and burn the anus of the slave shut, so that the slave couldn't use the restroom no more, forcing the hog to marinate into the digestive system of the slave. I don't know about you, but the fact that we had to catch that much hell to get the pig put us in us then, we should never touch the swine ever again for the rest of our life. All praise are due to Allah. There was a formula that we had for living that came from God himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you notice that everything that you purchase of value comes with directions for use with it? You buy a television. Does it not come with directions? VCR. Is that right? A computer. Directions for use. A car, a truck. Everything that you purchase of value always comes with directions for use. Is that right? And the directions for use are always written out, spelled out by the creator of such an object. So if Chrysler makes a car, then Chrysler writes the directions for use to get the best from their particular product. Am I telling the truth? If Magnavox makes the television, then whenever you want to get the best use out of a Magnavox TV, you study the directions of the makers of Magnavox. Am I telling the truth? If you are buying a John Deere lawnmower, you don't study a Sears lawnmower's directions for use to get the best out of a John Deere. Whoever made or originates or creates the object is the best one to give directions for use for that object. So if God made you and me, created the original man, then surely he didn't create us and not give us a directions for use. Does that make sense? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that the human body is made to last 1,000 years. Now, if somebody gave you a television, and told you, look, the television is built to last for 10 years. And within 7 months, the television broke down. You would say, is something faulty about the device? Or is something wrong with what I'm doing to get the best use of the device? Am I telling the truth? If you bought a car, right, that is said to not need a tune-up for 100,000 miles, yet at 5,000 miles, the timing is off. Huh? It's starting to putter. It don't want to start. You would have to refer back to the owner's manual and figure out whether or not you are doing what you're supposed to be doing by that object. Well, if man is made to live 1,000 years, but the life expectancy for a black man is 68 right now. The life expectancy for a black woman is 72 right now. There should be an alarm that has gone off in our mind by now to say, damn, how did grandmama and granddaddy and my great-grandmama and great-granddaddy, why are they dead at such an early age? When the body is made to live 1,000 years, something must be wrong with what we are doing with the owner's manual. We must not be following the proper directions of usage to get the most out of this life. Is that right? Allah God created man better than everything in creation. Is that right? The Holy Quran says that I, Allah, created you in the best of molds. Is that right? And created your mate of the same kind. Truth? The Bible says sun, a glory of God. Moon, a glory of God. Is that right? Vegetation, a glory of God. Man, the glory of God. Is that right? Everything that exists in one of three forms: solid, liquid, or gas. Is that right? That's the truth. Right? The supreme of the solid, liquid, and gas world is solid. That's the highest form of created things. Everything that is solid exists in three forms. Right? That's animate, inanimate, or mineral. Rock, plant, or animal life. Is that right? Supreme above the rock is the plant. Supreme above the plant is the animal. The animal world is in three categories. You got the reptile. Then you've got the beast of the field. Then on the top of the list, the supremest of all creation is man. So man is the best between animate and mineral. Is that right? Man is the best of all creation. Yet man is only living 68 years as a black man. Yet woman, you are the supreme creation, but you're only living 72 years. But the Amazon parrot, less than the black woman, less than the black man. Life expectancy is 80 years. The elephant, bigger in size but smaller in intelligence than man, lives 70 years. The carp, you didn't hear what I just said. I said carp. That which man can send a line out with a worm on. Catch, cut, fry, bake, grill, saute, whatever you want to do with it. The carp, much less than man and woman, 100 years of existence. The American box turtle, 123 years. The Galapagos land tortoise, a big old turtle. That's all it is, a big old turtle. It lives 193 years. How is the parrot outliving the man? How is the fish outliving the man? How is the elephant and the turtle outliving the man? When man and woman are the supreme of creation. It's because man and woman are not doing what the animals are doing. The animals are living in their natural state. All praise are due to Allah. An animal ain't supposed to outlive no human being. Animals are much less than people are. Y'all don't believe me? Have you ever looked up in a tree and seen a deck off the bird's nest? Huh? The bird got him a nest, but he don't have no deck with no barbecue grill out there. You ain't never went to an anthill and seen outside the anthill a jacuzzi? Or a flat screen TV inside of a beehive? The beehive make one type of comb. The ant make one type of hill. The bird make one type of nest. But man can make many different styles of living, many types of homes, many amenities. Man is supreme in creation. How then is the bird and the bee and the turtle and the elephant and the fish outliving us? It's because they are living in accord with their nature. All praise are due to Allah. Man and woman in their natural state can live 1,000 years. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that when you live in your natural state, you choose when you want to die. You didn't hear what I just said? The gods, they don't die from no car accidents. The gods choose when they want to die. They get tired of seeing stuff over and over and over again. How many births do you want to see? Think about how many times you'll see a child born in 1,000 years. How many deaths do you need to see? How many sunrises and sunsets? How many springs, falls, summers, and winters do you want to see? After you have seen this for 1,000 years, you don't even want to live no more in that world. Let alone die and have somebody raise you up from the grave and make you live some more time. Don't nobody want to live forever and see the same thing over and over and over and over again. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that when the scientists want to leave the planet, then they began to eat 2 meals a day. You didn't hear what I just said? Well, maybe that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to leave the planet. So we have said, all right, I want to die. I'm going to start eating 2 meals a day. The difference between us and the scientists, they start their 2 meals a day when they 7 and 800. We start ours when we 12 and 13. That's a big difference. Y'all all right? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we dig our own graves with our teeth. I don't know about y'all, that look crazy. To see a man or woman in the cemetery digging up their own grave. They're not yet dead. And you stop them in the cemetery and ask them, what you doing out here? Oh, I plan on dying in the next 12 or 13 years, so I want to start digging my grave with my own teeth now. That look crazy, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to show you something, brothers and sisters. Out of the top 10 of the reasons why people are dying right now, almost every last one of them have something to do with what we eat. Number 1 on the top of the 10 causes of death is heart disease. 700,000 a year. Number 2, cancer. 553,000. Number 3, stroke. 163,500 people a year dying from them. Number 4, chronic respiratory disease. 123,000. Number 5, accidents. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
101,000, 40,000 of those was drunk. Y'all didn't hear me?
Yes, sir.
Number 6, diabetes, 72,000. Number 7, flu and pneumonia, 62,000. Number 8, Alzheimer's, 53,000. Number 9, kidney disease, 39,000. Number 10, toxins in the blood, 32,000 deaths a year. Grand total 2,400,000 deaths. And out of the top 10, 9 of the categories have something to do with what we eat and how often we eat. There's only one category that doesn't have something to do with what we eat, and that's accidents. And 40,000 of the 100,000 accidents came from somebody drinking too much. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
So out of 2,400,000 deaths a year from the top 10 causes of death, did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Only 60,000 of them come by way of an accident. The other 2,340,000 were deaths that could have been prevented if the people knew how to eat to live. All praise are due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. The Bible promises from Jesus' mouth that he will give us life and life more abundantly. What should a follower of Jesus look like then? How dare you in the church say to us, the Muslims, that we don't believe in Jesus? Hell, you don't believe in Jesus. Because if you believed in Jesus, you should be able to, as a Methodist or an Episcopalian or a Baptist or a Catholic, you should be able to outlive the drug dealer, outlive the pimp, outlive the prostitute, but with all your tongue speaking, with all your Holy Ghost dancing, with all of your tearing and your singing and your dancing in the church. The reverend ain't outliving the sinner. If you are with Jesus, you got life and life more abundantly though. Something wrong with what y'all teaching. Because if you were really with Jesus, you would be outliving the masses of the sinners. And you ain't doing it. All praise is due to Allah. The Holy Quran says to us in Surah 2, verse 172, it tells us, because it makes sense to hear life more abundantly, but we need to find out how we're going to get this. There's no list in the Bible of what foods to eat, is it? There are a few things in there, but for the most part, if you just go after a few things, you're starving. Is that right? Yes, sir. And if you only reject what's mentioned to reject, you're going to kill yourself. Yes, sir. The Holy Quran says in Surah 2, verse 172, "O you who believe, eat of the good things that we have provided you with, and give thanks to Allah if He it is whom you serve." So now we hear Allah telling us to eat what? The good things, right? Surah 16 verse 114 says, look at this now. So eat of what Allah has given you, lawful and good things. Did y'all hear me? Yes, and give thanks for Allah's favor if it is He that you serve. Some things that are lawful aren't necessarily good. Did you hear what I just said? Yes, so by Allah saying lawful and good, it's two different categories of food. Right. Two different grades of food. Right. You can eat what is lawful and you are all right. But if you desire to really live to the maximum of your potential, you don't want to just eat what's lawful. Right. You want to eat what's lawful and what is good. Right. It's lawful to eat beef. But that don't mean it's good for you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that in the beef there are 21 poisons that are harmful to the human body. That was in the 60s. The devil ain't got more righteous since then. Food ain't got more wholesome since then. So if it was 21 drugs 40 years ago, it's more than that today that's harmful to the human body. However, beef is lawful, but it ain't good for you to eat. Is that right? There are things that you can eat that are lawful, but don't necessarily mean that they are good. Yet the Bible nor Holy Quran give us a list of things of what we should eat and what we should not eat. Question we got to ask is, did Allah forget about us? No, Allah didn't forget about us. If He didn't put the list in the Bible and Holy Quran, that must mean that He plans on revealing it to another source. Huh? The list is going to come from another source other than the Bible and the Holy Quran. So the Holy Quran says in Surah 3 verse 48 that when the Messiah comes, then when the Messiah comes, He's going to teach the Torah and the gospel. He's covering the teaching of the Bible. He's going to teach the book, the Holy Quran. And He's going to teach the wisdom. Is that right? He's going to teach what foods to eat and what to store in your house. So the Messiah is coming. He's coming to give you insight and wisdom into the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Holy Quran. And He's coming with the list that's been missing from both books of what foods to eat and what to store in your house. Is that right? We believe that Elijah Muhammad is the Messiah. Is that right? The Bible says that when the Messiah comes, that he will be, number one, born of a woman named Mary. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's mother's name is Maria. Mary in Spanish. It says Jesus will be born in a manger. A manger is a place where animals live at. America is the wilderness of North America. It's a place with human beings walking on top of the ground. But the mind of animals run the human beings. We live in a manger. Jesus was a black man. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a Georgia-born black man. Is that right? It says that he came unto his own, and his own received him not. That couldn't have been talking about the Jesus of 2,000 years ago, because he didn't go and teach black people. You didn't hear what I just said. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he was the last prophet to the white race. Yes, he was. So he didn't go among his own, and his own didn't receive him. That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It is sad that you would be hated for my name's sake. Ain't nobody in the world hated for Jesus' name. You can put a cross on your bumper sticker. You can put a cross on your window. Am I telling the truth? You can put a fish with Jesus' name on the back of your car and ride the streets of America with peace and quiet of mind. But put a star and crescent on the back of your car. Put Muhammad on your license plate. We are hated for that name's sake, not for the name of Jesus. All praise is due to Allah. It says Jesus would be a man that was without letters, yet was learned. But Jesus of 2,000 years ago was a wise man. Is that right? He was taught by the wise man at 14 years of age. He went through all of the schools. He went into Cairo, Egypt, soon as he got out of high school, and studied in Al-Azhar University. He was a man with a high school diploma, a letter. He was a man with a college degree, a letter. And he was a man taught by a wise man, radio in the head. So he was a man of 2,000 years ago. That Jesus was lettered and learned. But Elijah Muhammad only went to the 3rd grade of education. Yet he was the wisest man we've ever seen. He was learned, but he didn't have no letters. The Bible says that Jesus, the Messiah, would teach wisdom while in the cradle and in old age. Well, when did Jesus die? Huh? The Christian scholars, some say 36. Some say 33. Some say 32. If man is made to live 1,000 years, 33, 32, nor 36 is not old in age. So the Messiah will be teaching in old age. That Jesus didn't live to be in old age. So he can't be the Messiah that would teach the Torah, the gospel, the book, the wisdom, what foods to eat and what to store in the house. It's got to be another man. And we believe that man to be the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Are y'all all right? Yes, sir. He told us what foods to eat. Show me where Jesus told you what not to eat. Show me where Jesus told you what to stay away from. Show me where he told what to put inside your house. Ain't no man done it but the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He told us not to eat the swine flesh, didn't he? Yes, he did. Because of the microscopic trichina worm that eats your digestive fluid, eats the cells in your arteries, eats away at the membrane and the tissue in the spine, eats brain cells, eats the eyes. You ate the pig one time and the pig ate you 5 times. So technically you didn't eat pork, pork ate you. He said leave that swine alone. Didn't he say it? He said don't eat rabbit meat. Don't eat raccoon. Don't eat possum. Don't eat squirrel. Don't eat turtle. Don't eat frog legs. Don't eat swan meat. Don't eat geese. Don't eat duck. Brace yourself. Don't eat shrimp. Don't eat lobster. Don't eat crab legs. Huh? Brace yourself. Don't eat catfish. He called seafood the swine of the sea. Yes, he did. All praise is due to Allah. He said, don't eat halibut. Don't eat buffalo. Don't eat canned mackerel. Don't eat the carp. Don't eat the crawfish. Don't eat the crayfish. Don't eat oysters. Did y'all hear me? Why? Because these are swines of the sea. All of these are scavengers. Huh? What does a scavenger do in your aquarium? Huh? The pretty tropical fish float away, swim side to side. Huh? The piranha goes side to side. Huh? You come and ooh and ah and look at the beauty of the colors of the tropical fish. But at the bottom of the aquarium, hugged up to the rock, stuck to the window, is them scavengers. Is that right? You put them in there for what reason? To keep the aquarium clean. Huh? They eat the dead fish. They eat the defecation of the other fish. They eat the filth of your aquarium. Huh? They are what they eat. And if you eat them, you are what you eat and what they ate. Have you noticed that all seafood is ugly? Shrimp is an ugly little fella. Lobster, crab. Look at that ugly catfish. Ugly. Catfish is the only fish in the sea that has a menstrual cycle and a mud vein. You didn't hear me? There's a vein in the catfish that is the mud vein that collects the filth that it eats. It's like a built-in sewer system in the catfish. Notice when you get that cat on the line, it's hard to deal with. A rebellious fish. All scavenger fish are always low in the aquarium. All scavenger fish are always low at the bottom of the lake. Am I telling the truth? Well, if you are what you eat, and the scavenger fish goes after the death, the dirt and the germs of the lake, the sea, and the river, then when you eat it, you adopt the characteristics of such an animal. He said don't eat any fish that can get above 50 pounds. Why? Because even though they don't have blood in them, many of them, the fact that they are above 50 pounds turns them into predators of the sea, where they become aggressive. And if you eat an aggressive fish, you adopt the characteristics of aggression. And Allah is never with the aggressor. Does that make sense? He said to us, don't eat sweet potato. I'm going to mess your Christmas dinner up. I already know it. Damn right I'm going to mess up the Christmas dinner. Why not the sweet potato? The sweet potato has within inside of it hair-like fibers. Have you noticed that? What happens whenever hair gets in your drain of your bathtub? It clogs it up, is that right? Well, if you are eating sweet potato, you are eating the hair fibers in the sweet potato, clogging up your system. Is that right? He said don't eat the lima bean, the black-eyed pea, the buttered bean, the pinto bean, the large red beans. Is that right? Why? Because these beans, he called them belly busters. You say, well, all they do is give you gas. Ain't nothing good about gas. Gas ain't healthy. Did you hear me? If it was healthy, it wouldn't smell so bad. I didn't want to go there. He said don't eat peanuts or no nuts of any kind. Every time you eat the peanuts, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it takes 5 years off your life. For the peanuts never digest. Is that right? Yes, sir. The peanut has protein in it, but it's called a protein inhibitor. Meaning you get protein out of the nut, but it inhibits the body from the distribution of other vitamins and nutrients. So you got protein from the nut, but you didn't get none of the vitamin A or vitamin C or potassium from the other fruits and vegetables you ate at the time you ate the peanuts.
That's right.
You all right?
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed that when you eat the nut that it comes out looking the same way?
Yes, sir.
It didn't digest. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
It stays and it gathers itself inside of the colon. Sweet potato gathers inside of the colon. Certain meats that you eat gather inside of the colon. You all right?
Yes, sir.
And whenever food begins to gather in the large intestines, which is at the bottom of your stomach, then we wind up coming up with suffering from the Dunlap disease. When your belly done lapped over your belt. Some people call it a beer belly. But it is excess weight. Notice how certain men in your family, not only is their belly big and fat, but it's solid fat. Huh? You can go knock on the granddaddy them belly. From all the cashews, honey roasted, all the steak dinners, crawfish, catfish, huh? All locked up inside the large intestine. And since the large intestine can expand to an unlimited size, the more you put it in, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Huh? Here you are, you see your uncle, slim legs, slim arms, sleek face, a big old belly. How in the hell that happened? Huh? His fat ain't even real fat, it's just a buildup of food in his stomach. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do you know, brothers and sisters? Man, this is something else. I want to go to the board real quick, if that's all right with y'all. Get the cameraman. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the board. We're going to have a little classroom tonight.
Yes, sir.
This is how to escape the white man's dietary plan 101. Everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, we all know about digestion, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Digestion starts off where? In the mouth. It's something called chewing.
Yes, sir.
Y'all heard that before?
Yes, sir.
You're supposed to chew your food at least 32 times. One bite per tooth that's in your mouth. If you got all your teeth. I'm going to say that now. Now, if you got 18 teeth, don't try to take 18 bites. If you only got 18 teeth, you might need to double up on your bites. Because some of your bites might have hit all gum. You want to make sure they hit something hard to help. What, am I saying something wrong? It's just the truth now. Mouth, right? And the esophagus. I don't know how to spell it, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Food in the first phase of digestion is in the mouth and the esophagus. Next is the stomach. Next is the small intestines. Last is the large intestines. Y'all still with me?
Yes, sir.
Food is digested on the average in the mouth and esophagus 3 to 6 seconds. Not that long, right? Inside of the stomach, food stays in there and is digested on the average of 2 to 4 hours. I just want to help us to be able to live long enough to do what we're supposed to be doing. Because if we died too early, we might have died before we ever found out what we were born to do. Don't that make sense?
Yes, sir.
The small intestines, food stays in there 10 to 12 hours. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
In the large intestines, it stays in there 12 to 16 hours. Did y'all see how long that is?
Yes, sir.
Minimum of 24 hours. Average between 24 and 36 hours to digest one meal. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
How many meals are we eating though?
At least 3.
I'm going to say 3 meals, 2 snacks. Is that legal?
Yes, sir.
Y'all with me on that?
Yes, sir.
The body does not know how to determine a snack from a meal. It still goes through the same amount of time for a snack. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So if you eat a chicken sandwich and a biggie fry, it goes through the same process. Huh?
Yes, sir.
If you eat a bag of Flamin' Hot Doritos, same time. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So the average person eats at 8 o'clock in the morning. What?
No, sir. You said nothing wrong.
Donuts and a coffee.
That's right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You know I'm telling the truth. Right? Now, next time they eat, if they can make it, it's powerful now, it's a good run. 12 noon. That's lunchtime, right? You know the Negro thing, anytime they stomach growl, they hungry. Oh. Man, I'm starving. Stomach growling and everything. Soon as you wake up in the morning, your stomach growl, don't it? Do you know why? Because while you were asleep, every system of the body shuts down except for one. That's the nervous system. Everything else shut down. So whenever you wake up in the morning, you call it hunger when your stomach growls, but it's not really hunger. It's your stomach getting back started again. You all right?
Yes, sir.
Now we got 12 noon, right?
Yes, sir.
We ain't gonna make it all the way home. No, we not. 2 o'clock. It's snack time. Right?
Yes, sir.
Flamin' Hot Dorito. Flamin' Hot Cheeto. Huh?
Yes, sir.
We don't start with the intention on eating the whole bag. Huh?
That's right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You intend to eat it very civilized. 2 or 3 here, wrap it back up, put a rubber band around it. Huh? Put it in the desk. Right? You get on a phone call. Something don't go right. You unwrap it. Go back in. Rewrap it, put the rubber band back on, back in the desk. Am I telling the truth? Do you know why the chips and stuff is so addictive? Have you ever wondered why you can go to the movie, you just got finished eating dinner before the movie? You ever heard of dinner and a movie? Most people that go to the movie go to dinner right before the movie. Well, how is it that you can eat still a big old bucket of popcorn? Huh? And go back for the free refill. With a big old pop. A gallon of Pepsi. How do you do it? How is it that you plan on eating 1 or 2 chips, but for some reason you just can't leave? Huh? Why is it that White Castle has a slogan, what you crave? It's because most of the junk food has a chemical inside of it called MSG, monosodium glutamate, which is a seasoning that causes you to crave it. So when you eat the chip, most chips have MSG in them. You can't eat just one. You got to keep going back for more and more, and you get finished, and then whenever you're done, you still can't stop. You got to crack the bag decent. Huh? Get everything in the one corner. Send it on down. You know I'm telling the truth. 2 o'clock, right? What about 5? It's dinner time. Right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. You still got to go to bed. Is that right? You got to have something while you watch The Simpsons. Huh? Huh? So, at 10, cake. Black people can't eat cake by itself. Got to have cake and what? Ice cream.
That's right.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Five meals. Right?
Yes, sir.
That took each one of them 24 to 36 hours to digest.
That's right.
Man, Islam is mathematics. Check this out. Now, we done ate 5 meals, right?
Yes, sir.
So based off of the time that it takes for each meal to digest, we can pretty much determine at bedtime where each meal is at in the body. Right?
Yes, sir.
8 a.m.'s meal, nice little run between 8 and 10 p.m.
That's right.
He's done fooled around the donuts and the coffee. It's done made it all the way to the large intestines. He done made it.
Yes, sir.
He's down to the large. He's not left yet. He's still in there. But he's got down there. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
What happened to the noon meal? The noon meal made it to the small. It didn't get to the large intestines. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
The 2 o'clock snack, kind of close, it made it to the small intestines too. The 5 o'clock dinner didn't even make it to the large nor the small. It just made it to the stomach. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
The cake and ice cream. Cake and ice cream ain't went nowhere. Huh? This baby here is still right there in the stomach. Huh?
That's right.
Some of it might still be in your esophagus. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. I wanted to do an experiment, but I didn't feel like wasting my money. But I want you to think about it for a second. How much does the donut and the coffee weigh? How much did the 12 noon, this is the lunch, the turkey club, and the fries, how much did it weigh when you put it in your stomach? How much did the bag of Flaming Hot Doritos weigh? How much did the dinner? How much did the cake and ice cream? Put all of that together in your body. It's all in your body at the same time. What do you think it would smell like inside of your body? So the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, what are you smelling? Cake, ice cream, turkey sandwich, fries, huh? Flaming Hot Doritos, donuts, coffee, salmon. You got all that in your system. We ain't even put the hog in there yet. Huh? We ain't put no liquor in your system. So think about this for a second, family. All of that is inside of your system. What would it feel like? How much would it weigh? It's over 10 or 15 pounds of food that you carry around with you every day. Imagine putting 10 or 15 pounds of excess weight on your back. You can't move as fast as you'd like to move. You don't have the amount of energy you're supposed to have. That means every day we carry more weight than we're supposed to, which means that we don't accomplish as much as we should because we get tired too early in the daytime. And when we get tired, we don't think not to eat. We think tired means eat some more. Am I telling the truth?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's do some more math real quick. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir. Get us together.
Now, here you've got 5 meals a day. the body created by Allah, the creator, with his owner's manual. He made the body to digest one meal a day. Right? What happens to a highway that's built for a certain amount of automobiles? What happens when too many cars get on the highway? It produces a traffic jam. Some of the cars that are going to the right location can't even get where they need to go because it's clogged up by too many cars. What happens to the body when you eat too much food? There's good vitamins, good nutrients that need to get to a certain location to keep you from getting sick. But the vitamins and nutrients are caught in a traffic jam. Huh? Vitamin C in your stomach honking the horn. Damn flaming hot, get the hell out the way. Trying to get up there, man. She can't get the flu. I got to get up there immediately. You all right? Oh, praise is due to Allah. So, boy, y'all minutes are crazy. 365 days a year, right? Yes, sir. 5 meals a day on the average. In 1 year, we would eat a total of 1,825 meals. The body was made for a 1 year run to only digest 365 of these meals. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
Y'all don't see where I'm going with this.
Yes, sir.
If the body is made to only digest 365 meals, now, I ain't trying to be vulgar, brothers and sisters, but every meal is supposed to produce a bowel movement. So if you ate 5 meals, you should be going to the restroom 5 times a day. Average person goes once a day. Sometime every 2 or 3 days. So if you go once a day, out of every meal that you ate, you only digested 1 out of 5. So if only 1 out of 5 left your system, where are the other 4? The body made to digest 365 of them in 1 year. You ate 1,825. If it digests this 1 every year, it would leave you with 1,460 undigested meals. How did you go from high school to the 10-year reunion 50 pounds heavier? And you swear you ain't changed nothing. It's because it's all been stored up in your system. You all right?
Yes, sir.
Man, this is heavy. So now you've got 1,460 undigested, potential undigested meals in your system. We are a walking cemetery. Literally. So, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we should eat 1 meal a day. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
And fast 3 days out of the month. If we ate 1 meal a day, then our body would be able to digest the foods. That fasting 3 days out of the month would give the body a chance to get rid of some of the poisons that have been collected from even that 1 meal a day.
That's right.
And if we did that, look what he said now, we would never get sick.
That's right.
Heart disease, sickness. Cancer is a sickness. Strokes, chronic respiratory disease, diabetes, flu, pneumonia, Alzheimer's, kidney disease, toxins in the blood, sickness. Only thing that's not a sickness out of the top 10 that kill people is accidents. So you and me will be able to live and not die and accept some freak accident without ever getting sick if we follow the diet of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Allah, God didn't forget about us in the Bible and Holy Quran. He gave the list of what foods to eat and what not to eat to the Messiah. And that Messiah that he gave that list to is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And how to eat to live. All praise are due to Allah. So, brothers and sisters, as we move forward, you and I have a choice to make. We can live the way we're supposed to, or live the way we feel like living. And if we live the way we feel like living, our feelings are produced by this world. We are not going to follow the proper program. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to eat the small navy bean, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
The small red bean, the string bean, white cabbage, right?
Yes, sir.
Turnip green, broccoli, cauliflower, okra, cucumbers, asparagus, eggplant, radishes, squash, beets, spinach, a little bit, just a small amount, onions and garlic. Only two things he said you couldn't get enough of. Eat as much onions and garlic as you want. I don't recommend to eat as much as you want if you're married. Into the wise is sufficient. Lettuce, green peppers. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Olives, brown rice. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
If you're going to eat red meat, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the best red meat is lamb. Still ain't that good for you. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Chicken or turkey. He even says you can eat a squab. It's a baby pigeon. I don't know where you're going to get it from. You can find one, you can eat it. Huh? Promise you can't get that from McDonald's. Yeah, let me get the squab combo meal. It's not going to work. Trout, red snapper, whitefish, white bass, pickerel, herring, perch, whiting, sardines, soaked in, it's something that it's not supposed to be soaked in something. I can't never remember it, I just won't eat them, period. Blueberries, strawberries, cranberries, bananas, apples, peaches, raisins, orange, lemons, cherries, dates, pears, almost all fruit you can eat it. He said eat your fruit raw and eat your vegetables cooked. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Miscellaneous things, cheese, butter, salt, ginger, whole wheat bread. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Eggs, and a few other things. They got a book out right now, in closing, called The Maker's Diet. I don't want no maker's diet. Yaqub was a maker.
That's right.
I want the creator's diet. If you want the creator's diet, you'll find it in How to Eat to Live Book 1 and How to Eat to Live Book 2. Thank you for listening. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, family. All praises are due to Allah. All praises are due to Allah.